Hey guys, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be doing a review and discussion on Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. Lord of Shadows is the sequel to Lady Midnight, which is the first book in the Dark Artifices series, which these books are going to be a trilogy with the last book coming out in I believe 2 years. The series follows Julian Blackthorn and Emma Carstairs. We follow the Blackthorn family. We follow all these things going on. There's warlocks, there's shadow hunters, there's demons, there's all that good stuff. And if you are aware of the other series, you should read all of those other books before you get to these. Absolutely, I'd suggest that. Let's talk about my non-spoilery thoughts on Lord of Shadows. So for my non-spoilery thoughts, I don't have too much to say other than the fact that I really loved it. It took me a little while to get through. It is 700 pages, but I thought it was really good. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this. At first it took me a little bit to get into, sort of, but I realized when I was reading this how much I miss Cassandra Clare's writing. I just thought this book, the characters are so fleshed out. I love them all so much. We got so many different point of views in this book, which I was really happy to see because we just got everybody's point of view and it wasn't confusing. Because like sometimes when books go from like point of view to point of view, it can get kind of confusing and it's like who is this? But it was really easy to see like whose perspective you were following at the moment and their views, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Yes, yes. Again, I think her writing is fantastic in this book. I didn't have any major problems with this book. There was nothing that I just didn't enjoy about it. I was a little turned off by Lady Midnight's ending, which I will not say, but going into this one, it wasn't how I thought it was going to be, and this book just didn't go the way I thought. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. At this point I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, which if you know me, it's really a high rating for me. So yes, I would definitely suggest picking up Lord of Shadows, even if Lady Midnight wasn't as amazing for you. I mean, if you hated all the characters in Lady Midnight, then you probably shouldn't read Lord of Shadows. But I mean, if you had some issues with Lady Midnight, I think Lord of Shadows is an improvement from Lady Midnight, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yes, let's jump into spoilers. I don't know where to start with this book, but I'll start with characters. So the Blackthorns, we have Julian and Emma, which at the end of Lady Midnight they say that Emma starts dating Mark so that Julian will stop loving her, and so the Parabatai curse won't destroy everyone. And she's dating Mark for a bit, which I love Mark. I think he's funny. I think he's adorable. I ship him and Christina, so yes, please. Kieran is annoying. Can he leave? When we saved him, I was like, oh great, yay, savory. And then I was like, hey, bye. I don't really like him. He's just there. I'm like, bye. But back to what I was saying. So Emma and Julian are a big part of the plot of this book, and I love their bond together. And I just the whole book I was waiting for them to admit their feelings, and near the end they're honest with each other, and they're both researching how to stop the how to break the Parabatai curse, and they learn, or Julian learns, that apparently you can break the curse only if you break every other Parabatai bond out there. When that dropped, I was like, no, because that includes, that's like what about, like, remember Will and Jem, and like Jason Alec and Clary and Simon, and what's gonna happen to them? And I was just like, no. Emma was like, no. Julian, he would probably go through with it, honestly. He's kind of mischievous, that boy. I like him, but he's got a dark side to him, man. Like the fact that he's so overprotective of his family, like he'd literally kill everyone to save his family, which, you know, gotta have respect for a guy who really looks after his family. But like a boy, he's like, he would destroy everyone else's happiness and all these other shadow hunters' lives basically just for him and Emma. I'm sorry, that's just selfish. As much as I like them together, that's a little too much. Come on, Julian, come on, man. I just couldn't. No. Talking about Christina, we had the whole situation where Perfect Diego and her were together, which I have bad feelings about Perfect Diego. The fact that they call him that, I find is very funny. But I just had a bad feeling about him, and I don't know, I don't like him at all. But I sound like I hate all the characters in this book, but I don't. I love Julian and Emma, and I love all the Blackthorns, and yes, but Perfect Diego is not my thing. And it was really interesting how he's engaged to Zara, who is the worst person I have ever seen or read about. She's just, I hated her. Like, every time she would speak, I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Thank you. All her little friends, the 50 of them that were in the institute, I was like, please go away. I hated all of them. We meet Diego's brother, Jaime, near the end, which I liked him. And we'll talk about Jerusalem soon. We'll talk about Drew soon. But the fact that we met Jaime, who is just fabulous, by the way, Drew keeps him in her room, which I was like, girl, that's not really the smartest thing to do. You're hiding some boy in your room that you don't know. Like, I don't know. I was like, I hope she doesn't regret this. But Christina sees Jaime and he explains that he is hiding a weapon and he is on the run. And yeah, and apparently Diego's engagement is all false and he still loves Christina and all that shit. So I'm like, okay. That sort of makes up for Diego a little bit, but not really. So, Christina and Mark. Let's talk about them. Christina and Mark. I love Christina and Mark and their chemistry. I love that scene when they were dancing in the ballroom. And then Kieran walks in because he doesn't remember, whipping Julian and Emma, and he doesn't remember doing wrong to Mark, so he still thinks they're in love and they're all good and they're all lovey-dovey, and then Mark's like, no. But he fakes it, and they're dancing in the ballroom, and I thought this scene was beautiful. And then Kieran's at the door, and he's like, and I was like, oh shit, like shit's about to drop, like he's gonna get pissed, like, oh no, this looks bad, like they're legit like ballroom dancing, this doesn't look good. And then Kieran goes, that's not how you dance with a lady, or like something along those lines. He's like, really, Mark? That's how you dance? And then he dances with her, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so weird. And Emma describes it as a hot fairy threesome. I died. But about Drew, holy shit, we barely see any of her as a character. Like, we don't see much of her. Like, she's one of the youngins out of the Blackthorns, so we don't see much of her, but I've got to have respect for her because feels left out. She wants to run an institute one day. She really admires Julian, and throughout this book, everyone learns that, Arthur Blackthorn's never really running the institute. It was all Julian, which gotta have respect for that man. Like, he did a lot of shit, but at the same time, he's a little bit mischievous. Has a little bit of a fire to him. Which is nothing wrong with that. Just some things I'm like, Julian. Near the end of the book, she is looking in Jaime's bag and she sees this, I don't even know what it was. It was like a rock, or it looked really weird. She thought it was like one of those lights that they carry around. And she touches it and it like transports her to like the fairy realm. And she sees this boy who has like blonde hair and green eyes. And he's like, what are you doing here? And then she's like, where am I? I don't even know. And it was just so weird, and I'm like, shit just dropped. And at first I was like, what? I don't even know what just happened. That was strange. And then from seeing reviews on this book, apparently the conspiracy theory is that, but apparently due to conspiracy theories, it is someone and someone else's child. I won't say who, but apparently it's like they're demon kids, so I don't know. It's a popular theory, so we'll see, but I thought that was interesting. Next, we have Ty and Livvy. These two are like my favorite dynamic duo throughout this book. Not sort of. They're twins. Ty is adorable. He loves Sherlock Holmes. He's so intelligent. He's so just, gotta love Ty. Probably one of my favorites in this book for sure. And Livvy, who I actually warmed up to a lot in this book. In book one, she was like fine, I don't know. I like Ty a lot. But Livvy, she really grew as a character. I can see her strength. Her and Ty work so well together, and I love how Kit was incorporated into their group as well. Kit is the Lost Herondale, so it was just amazing seeing him near the end of the book say, like, I am Christopher Herondale, and I was like, yes, you are, yes. I just loved the three of them and their work together and their bonding, and I just thought it was beautiful. And we'll talk about deaths later anyways. Okay, stay calm. Yes, okay. Talking about Kit. He was Johnny Rook's son. No one knows who his mother is still, so that's still up in the air. But I thought it was really interesting how at the beginning of the book, he was like stealing stuff from the Institute and Jace catches him, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, and throughout the whole book, he's like, these shadow hunters don't like me. Like, I don't like them. I don't know why I'm here. But like, he really grows and he becomes like, he feels a part of this family, and it's so beautiful seeing how he just starts to admire the Blackthorns and he starts to fit in with them and he starts to work with them, and it's just so beautiful. Oh my god, we saw Magnus. I was so happy when we got to see Magnus. We got to see Magnus and Alec. They matured so much. Let me just say that right now. They act like so old. Not like old, but like they're very matured now, and it's interesting seeing them. But Magnus is hilarious. He literally walks in on Julian and Emma like lying in bed together, and he pops in. He's like, "Oh, are you guys? Are you?" And then he goes, "Parabatai." I was like, good job, Magnus. You always gotta do this, don't you? You always gotta walk in on people after sex. Oh dear. Can we also talk about this tweet that Cassie Clare put out before the book was released about this rune that's like a birth control rune, which I was like, interesting, because like there's sex in these books but they don't use condoms, or I'm like, so what is happening? Like, you're gonna end up with a child, but okay. And when I saw this birth control rune, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be sex in this book, which there was, but I was like, they're gonna use the rune, right? Like, it's gonna be like a big thing, they're gonna draw on the rune. No, they don't even use that rune once. They don't even talk about that rune. If I'm not mistaken, they don't even mention it. And inside the dust jacket, I don't know if this is in everyone's editions, but it has all the runes. All the runes. And the birth control one is right here. And they didn't even use it. I was like, wait, why does it exist then? No one's using it. Boy, like, I don't, Talked about most of the people I wanted to talk about. I know there's probably someone else that I want to talk about, but okay, moving on. 4 deaths in this book. Arthur Blackthorn died first, which he gave, of course Malcolm wasn't dead. So I was like, that's not that surprising. Like, honestly, warlocks, hard to kill. So Magnus is, not Magnus, Malcolm is still alive. And I was like, okay, cool. And he is out for Blackthorn blood because he's trying to raise Annabelle from the dead, which was his lover when she was alive, and he's trying to raise her from the dead with this book, and he needs Blackthorn blood because Annabelle's a Blackthorn, and he needs a Blackthorn life. And Arthur hears about this. He runs out of the institute, which I was like, boy, you can go outside? Like, he doesn't go outside. I was like, whoa, cool, good for you, man. And he sacrifices himself for the Blackthorn children. I was like, oh my god, yes, thank you. Like, it was just such a sacrifice, and I could really appreciate what he did, and I thought that was so wise of him, especially as he hasn't done much over the years due to his issues himself. But it just really showed how much he cared for his family and what he did for them. So I just thought that was amazing. Personally, I know people really love Arthur Blackthorn. I'm not someone who's like, oh my god, Arthur Blackthorn, like, I'm so sad he's dead. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, like, that was a good thing to do. Like, I think that was good to put in the book. Like, it was a good situation. Yeah, okay. But I'm not like in love with Arthur Blackthorn, but like, he was a character that could be killed off because like, he doesn't really have a major thing going on. So I was like, okay, bye. But, you know, respect for, you know, but gotta give him respect for sacrificing himself for his family. And respect for sacrificing himself for his family. So I thought that was amazing. Second death is, who's the second death? Malcolm. Which is funny because, not that death is funny. Okay, so he raises Annabelle from the dead. And he's saying, oh my god, Annabelle, you're here, I love you so much. And then she just like stabs him. I'm like, what? And she just kills him. I'm like, okay, bye. And we learned that apparently since he was trying to rise her from the dead, since he was trying to raise her from the dead for so long, she was like conscious for like 5 years. She was like buried underground, but like could hear everything Malcolm was saying. So she was literally trapped for like 5 years due to the fact that she was dead for so long anyways, but she was trapped, could hear everything, and was conscious for 5 years. Do you know how terrifying that is? That is terrifying. So she kills Malcolm, which I'm like, oh, okay, bye. Thinking about the other 2 deaths. Well, the last one mostly because I don't really care about the Inquisitor that much, but yeah. Okay, so the next thing that happens is Annabelle is a big part of this book, And I loved hearing about Malcolm and Annabelle's past. I thought it was really heartwarming and how they were in love when they were kids. And let's just talk about quickly how this Lady Midnight, no, I meant Lord of Shadows. Oh dear, Just Check is not on. Okay. Let's just talk about how in Lord of Shadows, the opening thing in the book is Ned Girl and Poe poem. If you've been here, I love him so much. So the fact that Dreamland was in here, I was like dying. Like, I put it on Twitter. I was like, oh my god, they have it. Like, such a good way to start the book. And there's a reference to Annabelle Lee, which is a poem by Edgar Allan Poe later in this book. And she was saying that, like, she could hear Malcolm saying, like, it was many and many a year ago. And that's how the poem starts. I can recite it. It's great. Okay. But that was just amazing. That just made my, like, inner, like, post, like, just my love for Poe. I was just, like, dying. I was like, yes, like, no one makes references to Poe in the books I read, so, like, this was amazing. But the fact with Annabelle is I liked Annabelle and Julian, how they kind of got along in that way. Like, they were communicating, like, they were good. But it was also interesting how she didn't agree to testify in front of the council for the fact of, well, the sheriff. She didn't agree to testify in front of the council, but Ty wrote her note, so she agreed. And that's when shit started dropping, like, major dropping. Like, they made her hold the mortal sword, which was apparently very traumatic for her because she did it before and, like, shit went wrong. She doesn't trust the clave. She doesn't, yeah, no. So she's holding the sword and she's, like, saying everything like she's supposed to. But Magnus was supposed to be by her side because he's a key member of the council for Downwolders, and he was sick, which, holy shit, Magnus is sick? Like, excuse me, there's gonna be books about Magnus Bane. Like, is that gonna be about his life? Like he's gonna live, right? Like, he's a strong warlock man. Like, he's gonna live, right? Like, Magnus can't die. Magnus is my favorite, like, ever. But contain breath. Okay, moving on. She ends up stabbing Alec's dad, the Inquisitor, which, that's when shit dropped. Like, she just went, like, she just stabbed him. Like, there was so much going on in that scene, but she stabbed him, and I was like, oh my god. And Emma was fighting for a while with Cortana, and she was, like, the mortal sword was being used as a weapon, and I was like, oh, okay, like, this is interesting. This is, like, that was a pretty good chaotic battle scene. So that was the third death. The fourth death is what makes me angry. Livvy dies. That sweet little angel dies. And her and Ty were going to become parabatai. He finally agreed. They were going to become parabatai. They were in such a good place. She was good friends with Kit. They kissed at one point, but, like, who cares? They were good friends at one point. They're still friends, and then she dies because Annabelle can't hurt Julian. Annabelle doesn't get to kill Julian or Emma, but Livvy's right there. Right there. And she just goes, she just fucking, that was annoying. Like, no. My favorite died. One of my favorites died. I'm mad. I'm really mad. Like, I was so mad. I finished this yesterday, and I was lying in my room, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so mad. I was just lying there, like, devastated. And my mom's like, well, Julia, what's wrong? And I'm just like, the book. Like, I was just done. I was just like, that book. Basically, yeah. And anyways, Annabelle flees in smoke. The Blackthorns are all devastated. They're all on the ground. They're all, like, clutching their hearts. They're like, oh my god, like, maybe Ty, holy shit, that's gonna be a lot for him to get over. And Kit's gonna be right there to support him. A lot of people ship Kit and Ty, apparently. I don't know. I could see their chemistry. They like to hold each other and stuff. I could see their chemistry. But I was like, no, they're not going to get together, right? But apparently a lot of people want them to. So it is a possibility that that could happen. I don't know. Don't know. But Annabelle just poofs off in smoke. And the fact is that, why did she betray, like, Julian and Emma and them? I don't know. Was this her plan the whole time? Was she encouraged by someone else to get the black book? Who knows? But big bang of an ending. A lot of shit went down. A lot of things happened with our characters. Everything I said wasn't the whole book, but I don't want to be here for an hour. So this is where I'll stop the video. I know there's a lot of details that I'm not mentioning, but that's what I have to say for now. And I really enjoyed this book, and let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear what you would have to say. I'll see you all very soon with a new video. Bye! I've got a day.